So, what we perceive, we create. How we view the world is how we're creating our world. And this goes very, very deeply. It's something that as you continue on your journey and you continue to peel back the layers of the self that you've built up, the ego complex, if you will, then, or this persona, right? This mask that you wear. As you peel back those layers, you'll begin to see that underlying so much, pretty much everything that shows up in your life is happening because on some level there's a belief around it and there's a pattern. There's a pattern involved. And so let's say you had a parent that was very controlling and dominating. Well, throughout your life, there'll be a theme of these types of people being drawn into your life. And so maybe early in childhood, this pattern was instilled, and you said, oh, these types of women are controlling and dominating. And then maybe you have a teacher that's very much like that and suppresses you, or you have a boss who's like that when you get older, or a romantic partner that tends to do that. And it just keeps showing up. And it's because on some level there's a belief that that's how it is. That was programmed into the psyche at a very early age, though it's not exactly true in the sense that that's just not how things are. It's just the way that your perception was at that time. And so if you can begin to peel back those aspects of yourself and identify and lovingly appreciate all those people throughout those life, the boss, the teacher, the romantic partner, and the person who instilled the belief in you, have a great gratitude for them and realize they were wearing a mask, playing a character so that you could have an experience. And when you identify them as the divine, carrying a message for you as a gift, then you'll lovingly dissolve that pattern and then it will stop showing up in your life. And so this can happen. It's very pervasive, and it's if you go through this process, you'll find that it's in so many different aspects of your life. So it could be maybe you had a religious upbringing and it was maybe they had the whole thing about money is evil and this kind of thing, and so maybe you have a hard time with money. And so you can kind of go back and perceive the different aspects, like these different challenges come up, and you can go to the root of that and be like, well, maybe it's because there's this belief that this form of energy and currency is somehow in some way bad, and so you have a aversion or a resistance to it on a very deep level. And so maybe you're in the moment, you're going through all this like uh, positive belief and affirmation, but nothing's working because you haven't actually addressed the core belief, which is actually something that began long before. And it can even go, like in some of my experiences, some of these come generationally. So there was some that I was perceiving some things about money, and many of my grandparents, they had gone through many hardships. And my grandparents, including their parents and their parents, it was like a whole line of hardships around money, and it was around the depression, the Great Depression, and they were struggling. So that was in the DNA. That's in my DNA, and it was in the bloodline. And so I just, I would go back and perceive and keep going deeper and deeper into it and see that, well, actually, that's just where they were at. And then they developed that belief, and then that was encoded very firmly because they lived their whole life believing that, and that became a very strong pattern, in my bloodline, in my ancestry. And so yeah, I just observed it and did the same thing. Like I saw that they were, wearing a mask, playing a role, and they were getting the lessons that they were meant to get at that time. But it's not the truth. It's not the reality of our existence. The reality is we live in a hilariously abundant universe who wants to give us literally everything that we need to fulfill our soul's purpose. So there's no such thing as like lack. It might seem that you don't have the specific thing that you want, but you'll have plenty of richness of relationship, richness of experience, richness of food. But it comes into your beliefs. If you believe it will be hard, it will be hard. You will be correct. If you believe it will be easy, it will be easy. Not that you will not be tested. Sure, there'll be tests, but you can navigate them easily because you're capable and you've chosen to do so. So is a very powerful thing, these beliefs, and they're very, very deeply rooted. So this is a process that you can get into on an intellectual level, which is valuable, but also on an abstract level, if you're able to just process the emotions involved with these experiences, they can also be dissolved. And really, the fastest way I've in my personal life that's been able to dissolve them is when I'm able to neutrally observe them without any sort of judgment around it. So it's like the opposite of like a good way to do it would be like this. So don't do this. Observe the pattern from your ancestors and be like, oh, like what the heck? Like no wonder I'm having all these problems. Like they gave me this poor coding or whatever. It's like no, it's not like that. Be grateful for all of it, and then it will dissolve. It's through love that you will purify and align and reorient to truth and beauty and the divine. So observe that there's many different aspects, the very strong ones are in your parental relationships. So if you have problems in relationships, not necessarily only romantic, but also maybe in friendships and career and work, and like if you have relationship issues in any area of your life, look very closely at your parental programming, the beliefs that your parents had that you developed at a very early age, and look for the patterns of how those beliefs keep emerging over and over and over and over in these different circumstances in your life, and that no one is actually doing anything to you. Everyone is doing something for you. They're just a messenger carrying a gift for you. And once you identify that, you'll stop feeling like a victim, and you'll feel the truth. You'll feel the divine. You'll feel that everyone is divine. Everything is divine. There is no separation. No one is like out to get you. It's all part of your creation. Certain circumstances might be arise where things might seem unfavorable. Maybe someone's having a rough day, and then maybe the cashier like treats you some type of way or whatever. Cool, send them love. Maybe they're hurting. Maybe they have something going on. It's not personal, They're just so we're never really a victim of things unless we choose to be the victim. But it's not a good place to be. It's not very empowering. It won't get you very far. On that same note, I will mention though, it's important, like, forgive yourself for being a victim. Don't judge yourself for being the victim. Be like, yeah, it's okay. Like you were doing the best in that situation that you thought you had to do, and it's okay. It's all good, and let yourself know, like, I got you. Like, give yourself the love that maybe you're seeking outside of yourself, the love that mommy didn't give you, or the love that daddy didn't give you, the awareness, the presence, whatever that you wanted from them or anyone else in your life. Give that to yourself. It's not anyone else's responsibility, and you can't give what you don't have, and it's all right here. Go out in nature. Go sit with one of these trees. They'll teach you all about love. Go sit there for an hour in silence. Just put your back on it and wait. Listen. Feel. Be aware. Be alive. Breathe. It's beautiful. Life is beautiful. Everything is beautiful. Your beliefs create your reality, so begin to create consciously. Much love, my friends.